First thing I would say is that it's very encouraging to be in a room where there's a lot of collaboration and interaction. So I'm going to touch a little around the transformation and how we've done it. But frankly, I think Atif Saab, before the award distribution, covered the main aspects of it. But still, I'm going to try and kind of cover the framework. The first thing clearly is that this has to be something which is not simply an initiative, flavor of the month. It requires consistency. It requires frameworks. So you do need to create those infrastructures. At HPL, we have a diversity council. We have policies and frameworks and groups that work towards the key initiatives. It has to be a sustained effort. And this is why, I am humbled by what HPL has achieved, where this is the third award that we are getting at this particular forum. The governance mechanisms I've covered. The other elements that have to be there is the gender mainstreaming, the sensitization. I think this was earlier also touched upon. It's less about the females in the workplace, but it is equally about the men. And unless we create an enabling environment, unless we make female-friendly policies at the workplace, it becomes very, very difficult to take this initiative forward. The other thing is the frameworks that are there internationally. So the United Nations standards that are there for women empowerment, HPL is a signatory for that. So those are some of the key things that help create a more inclusive environment. The other element is it's not just simply about the ratios or the numbers. I can say that from 2004 being under 3%, we've now gone up to about 22% in the workforce. But the more important matrix for us is when we look at the extended leadership team of HPL, 20% of that representation is now from females. So we do have a generation which is now growing up to actually become the future leaders of the bank. In fact, we're very proud that at the governance level, at the board levels, we have 5 females in various boards of HPL and HPL subsidiaries. And in particular, you saw Maya there, who's now the chair, the first chair for any of these subsidiaries. And that just represents the commitment and is a testament to where we would like to see HPL to go. The other piece is, I talked a little bit about family-friendly and female-friendly policies. So the returnship programs, where if somebody is expecting an extension in the family, so they go on maternity leave, then how do we assimilate them back? Because there are obviously commitments that you have with the young one as well. And then people who leave or wish to leave for some time, based on these and other considerations, how do we bring them back and ease them back? Because at the end of the day, there has to be that culture of a family. Once you've left for very, very cogent reasons, there has to be a path back to HPL for our temporarily departing individuals. Lastly, inclusion at the next level, and we look at these benchmarks, has to be also beyond just gender diversity. So when we start looking at differently abled people, this is a sector where I think there is more work to be done. We do have about 100 or so of differently abled people in the workplace. And again, we are actively working not just for our differently abled employees, but also for our differently abled customers to create those right conveniences, within our branches, within our ecosystems and our policies. So if there are devices that they require for mobility or for hearing or for other needs, we do provide facilities that enables them to function irrespective of what differences they may exist in terms of their abilities. So really, again, it can't just be episodic, one-shot interventions. It is really a sustained focus of the organization over a period of time. So when we start talking about the market and the customers, the 4 pillars, Al-Falah talked about, I'm proud to say that we, today serve about 40 million customers, where about 52% of them are women. And I think that's a large statistic for us. Then we realize that that's not enough. We don't really make products that are female-centric. We have this cookie cutter and we assume. So we launched HPL Nisa, which is a product specifically catering with the features that would be attractive to that target base. Today we have about 3.3 million females that are our customers. We are proud to have them, and we have generated about 33 billion rupees in deposits. So when we look at entrepreneurs and we look at women entrepreneurs, over there again, we've dispersed about over 3.8 billion rupees to these entrepreneurs. So clearly, when you start embedding inclusion, this is not just about inclusion for inclusion's sake. It is also about moving Pakistan's economy forward, because we simply cannot have a growing and healthy economy if 50% of our population is not catered to. Lastly, digitization is a very important mechanism for financial inclusion. So through our HPL Connect program, we've been able to disburse to BISP recipients. So there's over 252 billion rupees that we've dispersed to about 3.7 women beneficiaries within the BISP program. In addition to that, this ecosystem employs about 1,600 females within the Connect agents as well as the Connect shops that support this. So in closing, how do we do it? I think is no different than what the rest of the people in this room do, but we must make the scale of inclusion a defining part of our overall strategy. It must be integrated into the organization, so it isn't a flavor of the month that somebody comes and reverses it. In short, it is irreversible. It then moves with its own momentum. And finally, what does the future look like? The future will be shaped by institutions that cater to all segments, that includes all segments of the economy, and those are the organizations that are going to thrive as we go forward. Because when we start looking at the international landscape and our international partners, these green bonds that we talk about, green funding we talk about, as part of their SDGs, one of the most important things is now not a single SDG like compliant resilience, but climate resilience has to be matched with another SDG, which is how much will that empower females? How much will be directed to that segment? So we work very closely with international organizations like BII, IFC, and others, so that we're able to bring even more resources to bear to create those positive impacts to help with climate resilience, which is a big challenge for Pakistan, as well as inclusion. So I know it's a bit of a overload in terms of how we do things. So I really thank you for bearing, and I'm grateful for the recognition that we have received today. Thank you.